What's going on, everybody? Afternoon. Happy beginning of March, finally, as we're getting out of this stupid winter season that's been all hell on earth. Joined by Neil
Yep.
as always. God, it was like this entire weekend. Like, I'm just so over snow now, and I can't. I'm like begging for the end of week to come because like I can see the finish line.
Right. You
Right?
can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
My God, I'm so excited. I can't
Yeah.
because then golf season's around the corner, so I'm excited.
Hey,
But
there you go.
yeah, a lot of things happening though in March coming up. March is usually like a pretty good time anyway for sports because you got March Madness, obviously, which is always fun to bet on and lose every single time.
Got the World Baseball
Um,
Classic starting on Friday.
yeah, World Baseball, that'll be
A
good.
lot of
I want
fun.
to see Japan and the US just back in the final again.
I could see that, but I also could see one of the Latin countries being like,
True.
really good, like, Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, obviously.
True.
Be really interesting to see how that all goes down.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else is happening this month. There's a couple of things going on, isn't it?
The NHL
Deadline,
trade
obviously,
deadline on
Friday.
Friday.
Deadline Friday. I
Um,
know we'll get into it, but more
uh,
importantly, I mean, it's like I think we're just finally like for me as a golfer, Masters is coming up. Not March, obviously. Excuse me, not March, but like we're getting into it in the next couple of weeks.
March
So
is the point of saying, oh, it's right around the corner.
yeah, I mean, for golf fans, there's the Players Championship.
That's
It's
true.
the
I
fifth
have a
major.
whole golf course in my backyard.
Fuck you.
I could literally watch people play if I want. I mean, nobody's playing right now because of the snow and everything, but like I could literally sit
Soon.
here and watch people play. So that's kind of
Soon.
cool.
You should get into it.
If only I had the money to afford golf clubs.
Go to a thrift store, man.
That's a good point.
All it is just a reason to get out and go for a walk.
That's very true. That's
That's
really
all it
true.
is.
You're outside for hours walking
Yeah.
around. So like I can't you can't really complain about that.
That's pretty much my excuse every time. How'd it go? Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
won.
One thing that I'll say really quickly, just NHL wise, I am just blown away with like Matthew Schaefer with the Islanders. I
Oh,
mean, 2 goals last night. He's got 20 goals on the year. I mean, this kid just gets better and better every single game.
I mean, you just talk about what a home run that was for the Islanders.
Dude.
I mean, you can't get better than that. Like, all, and that's what I mean. I think it's going to be fascinating when we talk about the draft lottery coming up because there's just so many teams that are vying for that like top two spot. You know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
all like I think for us Flames fans here, just like I don't want that to happen again, where an 11, 10, or ninth place team all of a sudden, like in the reverse order, all of a sudden skyrockets and they get it.
Right.
Right.
But you can't, I mean, we can't really blame the Flames for that. I mean, it's not really their fault necessarily if we're
No,
finishing bottom three and then a 10th place team jumps everybody. Like it, unfortunately, the lottery has done that numerous
of
times.
course,
So,
of course. So I mean, and that's the thing. I think still there's the hope. Obviously, we talked about it, top two, right? But let's talk about what's happening this week. So obviously, we'll talk about the game that happened last night. We'll talk about the little California trip that they had to. Some good and bad things that we witnessed, but more importantly, I thought what was fascinating last night, and I just mentioned it to Neil before we jumped on, was the fact that excuse me, and it was reported by Eric Francis that members of Colorado's front office, including GM Chris McFarland, assistant GM Kevin McDonald, and the assistant to the GM Andrew Cogliano, were all in attendance in last night's game in Anaheim. And one can only imagine that certainly those talks must have revolved around Nazem Kadri. It had to have been. Had to, right? I don't think there's any other way to put it. Calgary does play again on Tuesday coming up, and I believe they have one more game before the deadline as well. I think it's Ottawa coming up, if I'm not mistaken, at home. But I imagine GMs might come in there as well too. And we're getting down to it now. We have 5 days here until the deadline. What are your thoughts that you kind of, I don't know if you saw it last night at all, if you're just seeing it today, but certainly the conversation kind of has to be revolved around the fact that Colorado has to be likely interested in Kadri.
I think it's not even that. I think it's just simply that I think it's just a matter of when, not if. I think that they all got together in person because I think they want to have these discussions one-on-one and get this over with. It's also possible. I mean, it's possible that Kadri met with somebody from that front office last night or whenever and discussed about, do you want to come back to Colorado where he won a cup? I think Kadri would welcome it absolutely, considering where they are. And I think it's a matter of when, not if. And
Right.
I think what's good for the Flames is that, in a way, if they're the first ones to make a move for someone significant on the trade board like Kadri, that sets the market for everybody else. And if the sooner you get it done this week, the better it is for you, and the better it is for other teams to kind of get an idea as to what happens, right? So
Right.
I think it's interesting. It's interesting. I don't hate it. I'm not against it. I mean, is this considered tampering? Probably not. I don't think so. I think it's totally fine. I just don't like that so much is coming out. It feels like that, like we're at that point now where it's not even a matter. Like I said, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, kind of thing.
Right.
Audrey knows he's gone. Right?
Oh yeah, 1,000%. He knows. He knows. He knows.
Yeah.
He knows. Blake knows. Like, guys know, right?
Right.
So what I don't love about Colorado is because I kind of just quickly take a look at their cap friendly here, and I don't love their prospects pool. And one name that was thrown out there in a type of return was Ross Colton, who can play left wing and center. He's 29 years old. Not a huge fan of that because we're not what kind of value are you getting from that like moving forward? I'm just not I'm not sold on that, right?
Yeah.
I think the one thing Calgary has solidified itself that they're fine in net. Defensively, there's a pipeline that moving forward they're going to be fine with, and I think Flames fans should just accept that. Sure. The one thing that's been lacking this season has been goal scoring. I think, Neil, it's funny, like as bad as they've been this year, right? Being 9 points back, what would an extra 15 to 20 goals done for this team? They could be 2 points back, right? Back in that mushy middle again. But that's kind of still not where you want to be, especially in a division that really isn't all that great. Anaheim's the only team that has more wins than losses if we're including the overtime losses. Like, that to me is crazy. Back to the point, like, I want Montreal back into the conversation here, because
I want Minnesota personally.
And Minnesota too, because I like the fact, like, I just don't love, like, all right, you can get these first round picks from Colorado, but hindsight of what it is, they're probably not going anywhere for the next couple of years. That first round pick that you're going to get is going to be in the late 20s, mid 20s ish, right? Depending on how things go, right? And because you're still stuck with McKinnon and whatever, McCarr as well too, as we continue. And Calgary doesn't want to look at retaining any of Kadri's money either. So no, I get it though, right? I understand the fit. I understand the desire for Kadri to go back here. But if we're looking at it from a broad perspective, I just don't love what Colorado doesn't have deep prospect pool.
No.
And the picks that they have are not going to be, to me, valuable, frankly, going down the road. They want some of these high-end prospects as well because of, you're going to have Kadri for a couple of years on term. So I want, like you mentioned, Minnesota, I want kind of sticking around here in the conversation. More importantly, though, I think it's been talked about before, and I simply love the fact that Montreal can kind of be in that realm as well, too. And the reason why I like Montreal is I'm still stuck on Michael Hake. And I say that because when you look at the NCAA's scoring leaders right now in the points race, it goes Ethan Whitenbach for the Calgary Flames. It goes Gavin McKenna. And then it goes Michael Hake as well, too. Like that's what it's going to take. That's what I feel like it's going to take here. And so I'm very curious as to what Craig Conroy sees in Colorado. I'm just not sure.
I worry a little bit about kind of what Conroy has done for the most part in terms of the guys that he's moved, where he's tried to be fair to the player he's dealing away. of trying to give them an opportunity to kind of see where they may want to go. And I think that can hurt Conroy in this situation, because at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for the organization, regardless of whether you're going to piss off the player or not. Like, you got to do what's right. And I'm with you. I don't want them to settle on Colorado and get a very okay return for a guy that you're going to have for multiple years, right? Like,
mind you,
Mhm.
it is speculative, right? Blake Coleman would be a great fit on that third line.
Sure.
That also could, like, we could be totally
Maybe
wrong.
they were talking about Coleman more likely. Maybe they were. Maybe they
Right,
were, right?
right.
Because
Which
I
I'm
think
fine with.
it's possible that Chris McFarland was looking at it and saying, okay, he probably let's be real. He probably did ask Conroy what he would be looking for a Nazem Kadri deal. I wouldn't surprise. And maybe Conroy gave him, the idea, and he was like, okay, well, what do you want for Blake Coleman instead? And maybe they discussed that as well.
Mhm.
And if we end up in a situation where it's Coleman that goes to Colorado, and then let's say, in the best case scenario, Kadri goes to either Montreal or Minnesota, and we get one or two like really good prospects. I think that's a win. I think that's
Yeah,
a major win. And if you're getting
yeah.
you're getting Haig, which I think that Montreal would really try to hold on to him, but who knows? Hard to
Something's got to
say,
give. Something's got to give.
but something does have to give, right? And can you imagine if we get Haig along with what we already have, and then maybe by the stroke of luck, we get Gavin McKenna? We have three of the top players in Division I hockey in our prospect pool.
This could
That
happen.
is amazing to me. So I know that they talk about like, oh, it must be Nazem Kadri. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. I
Right.
don't know if Friedman has spoken about it or anybody has spoken about what they saw last night. But it'll be really interesting to see what all comes down. Really interesting.
It is going to be fascinating. Again, like, I think, and I'm bringing up an article that Eric Francis wrote literally like 20 minutes ago, mentioning the fact that, hey, like, it's not to suggest that Blake Coleman wouldn't be a brilliant fit there on that third line. So I wanted to bring up as well, kind of their deadline plans a little bit. Eric Francis, who does a great job on Sportsnet, who's written some phenomenal articles. I want to give him his flowers and showcase what he wrote on Sportsnet literally probably 20 minutes ago. So it revolves around their kind of plan here, and just to showcase kind of what they have. So the good news
Yeah.
is for Calgary is that they have $45 million in cap space coming up here, right?
Which is great.
They have 2 retention slots open as well. And if you look at their draft picks, they've got Vegas's first for the next 2 years, obviously conditioned with the Anderson deal. We won't.
Do you know, by the way, just random thought, do you know what the one retention slot is currently?
That was for Anderson's retention.
Was it Anderson? Okay.
Correct. They took
It
about,
wasn't. It wasn't Markstrom, right? They didn't retain anything on Markstrom, right? I don't think they did.
No.
Okay.
And even if it was, it would have.
Yeah.
They didn't retain. No,
It
they
would
didn't
go
retain
away
it.
after this year anyway, because his
Correct.
contract he was with Calgary is up anyway. Okay. Yep.
You bet. This is Anderson, though, because he did take 25% on the retention there.
Fair. Got it.
One of the two. They took retention. So
Yeah.
anyway, the good news is, again, like, they had 2 first-round picks already coming up here, and I think it's going to be fascinating to see, hey, if for some reason Vegas trickles a little bit, and even if they make the playoffs and you lose in the first round, well, all of a sudden you got a mid-first round pick all of a sudden too. So that's something that I think is enticing for Calgary a little bit. But some of the needs that he talks about is kind of what I've echoed as well too. Devin Cooley, we'll get into him again, who I thought played phenomenal the other night. And you've got a pipeline there in the blue line here. It's the fact that you need young prospects and draft picks that are going to be goal scorers, right? The difference makers on a team that's literally has the league's lowest scoring team.
Yep.
Where I believe it's still Coronado who has under 20 goals. And I'm curious to see if anybody's going to hit 20 goals this year, if that happens. So looking at some of the assets, we talked about Coleman, we talked about Kadri. Pahal, I don't hate. I think they're teams that could probably use somebody like a Braden Pahal. more or less you want to shore up time for Zane Parak, Brushewitz coming up, Jan Kuznetsov, blah, blah, blah. We talked about the prospects before. He's a hard-hitting guy, like it's mentioned here. He's won a cup already, so maybe he brings in that kind of presence as well. Joel Hanley as well, too, 34 years old. I would personally like to maybe move on from that, I think, too.
I would agree.
It's been talked about, too, with Lomberg that, he has said numerous times how much he wants to be here. He wants to end his career in Calgary.
Sure.
Essentially, right? He wants to be here. And so I don't think it's anything if you go to tell him, it's like, hey, like, I totally get it. Go win somewhere for 3 months and then come back.
Yeah.
Right?
The San Jose Sharks did that with Patrick Marleau for the last couple of years of his career. They literally would sign him to a 1-year deal. At the deadline, they would trade him for whatever. And then in 3 months, he'd be back with them anyway. So, like, I think Longberg could honestly go with that, especially if, let's say, we trade him to, like, somewhere and he goes wins a cup. I mean, is he going to really complain? No.
Sure. But it's almost like he's going there and then coming back with, like, okay, well, I've been with Florida already. Here's another team I've been with. Like, this is what we're missing as well, right? And he wants to be that locker room guy, and you need that, right, for being in this league. So I like that. One name, again, that's been brought up is Mackenzie Weegar, and I pray to God that doesn't happen by Friday.
Yeah. See,
what do you think on Weegar? Like, honestly.
I get why people would bring up his name, but the problem is that you can't just trade everybody for the sake of trading everybody. Like, I get it. We want to get younger. We want to rebuild, but at the same time, you still need some amount of talent on the roster while you're also developing into an eventual contender. Like, and I think that with Weegar, it would be very fair to say that in the Matthew Tkachuk trade, Weegar's been by far the better player that we ended up getting in that deal. And I think that he has established himself as a very reliable top defenseman on our team. I don't see a reason to move him unless, honestly, you're getting a blowaway deal on Friday that you'd be stupid not to take.
Sure.
Like, that's right. You know what I mean? Like, and the only team, genuinely, the only team I could see picking up the phone and asking about Weegar would be the Dallas Stars, who now just put Tyler Seguin on LTIR. They've been looking for a right shot defenseman. There's other names that have been brought up, involving them. But I think with the way that Weegar plays, his age, his contract, I think that it would be enticing. But at the same time, if you're Craig Conroy, nothing wrong with listening. Nothing wrong with listening to an offer. But if it's not a blowaway deal, don't accept it and keep Weegar. Like, that's genuinely how I look at it.
And also, by the way, you were right about the retention. 2 more retention spots open up the summer because of Markstrom and Anderson. So Markstrom still.
That's what I thought. Okay,
yeah.
So
and they only have 1 spot left for retention. That's important to know. Going into Friday, that's really important to know, too.
And I think that's why that Conroy's so adamant about not wanting to retain anything on Kadri, because he wants to keep that spot open for something else. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Probably like a Blake Coleman,
Yeah.
Because you don't want to retain it with 3 years left on his deal. No way. No way. I completely agree. I wouldn't want to do that. Yeah. So those were some of the names that were thrown out there. There's been a lot of names that have been thrown out there. So Francis only writes 1 potential target here in Connor Geekie. And so just to explain what Francis says here, he's 6'4", 212. He's 21 years old, who's been amazing apparently in the AHL. I haven't checked his stats yet. And he's looking to break through on a Lightning roster that is continuing to be as deep as ever. Screw me for thinking Tampa was going to miss the playoffs this year. Bad Kyle. And there's also plenty to link with the Coleman return to Tampa as well too. So if you can find a way to sneak in Connor Geekie, that would be a really good fit for the Calgary Flames here. One thing also too. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say Geekie's actually having a really good year down in Syracuse or up in Syracuse. 47 games played, 14 goals, 37 assists for 51 points on the year. So I'm not against it. I'm really not. I mean, it would bring some more younger forwards. And again, we would be offering him the chance to be, playing every day and playing in the NHL.
Yep,
and not
playing time.
yep, and that's huge.
Robert Munich
What about his brother?
on
What about
I know,
Borgin?
right? Can you imagine? So Robert Munich saying 2027 first round pick and Ross Colton for Nazem Kadri makes a lot of sense for both sides. The Flames could flip Colton between now and the deadline. Only issue is that Colton has a 12-team no trade list. It would take some convincing to get him to waive. Fair, but we talked about White Cloud
Fair.
getting flipped. I don't know about you, and I'm kind of flipping the conversation a little bit. I love Zach Whitecloud on this team. I love what he's been doing. I think he's for his age and for his salary. It's like, I mean, for the next 2 years, I'm holding on to that.
Why not?
In terms of development, I'm holding on to that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would.
I have no problem. I have no problem with White Cloud sticking around. I'm
No.
glad we're not flipping him because I want to actually keep him.
Yeah, I
He's
know
been
his
really
name
good.
was. I know in one article I was reading that I think it was just previewing like every team's deadline or like what they might do. I know that that was a name that was brought up as like he might get moved, he might not, based on, but again, I go back to when we acquired him and when Conroy was talking to the Flames media, and he was talking about him like they expect him to be here beyond this year and being a part of this. And I think with Zach Whitecloud, he gets to play higher minutes here than what he was getting towards the end of his time in Vegas. So,
right.
Again, this is going back to my point about why I get trading assets, but you also don't want to overkill it either and make your team so unbelievably young and inexperienced that they can't even learn how to win right away.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And like develop together. So like you have because we don't have enough young defensemen that are ready to go next year, in my opinion, just based on paper.
Sure.
So
doesn't mean it can't change.
Doesn't mean it can. Oh, absolutely. It doesn't mean it can't change. People were wondering if Matthew Schaefer was going to play in the minors to start or back in juniors.
Boy, were they wrong.
Oh, everybody was wrong.
Well, that's just it, right? And I mean, that's why I kind of, like you mentioned that, like I divulge it to what San Jose's built, right? Like with the Celebritys and the Will Smiths and the Eklunds, right? It's like, you have guys like Tyler Toffoli there too, as well, right? Which are key pieces. And
Alex Wenberg.
Alex Wenberg, right? Like they're like, it's a good, I feel like it's a really good mix over there.
And listen, Wenberg was the kind of guy that people were like, oh, he'll probably get traded at the deadline. He just signed an extension in San Jose. So like they're starting to establish what I want to see the Flames end up getting to in another year, which is, okay, so now you've established the young guys that you're obviously trying to develop, but then also having that mix of veterans that you feel comfortable enough keeping around for several years to help this team be competitive as well. So
exactly. Yeah.
And that's why I think this offseason is so important from a free agency standpoint, just to look for other guys that could fill in that roster as well.
Well, I think it's going to depend how the draft looks too, right?
I
because
agree.
you have to look, like you got to look and just see what does the outlook really look like, right? Like how the whole point of free agency is about luring guys in, right? What can you sell them on, right? So it depends how the draft goes and what you're building and all that. So one thing I just wanted to quickly mention, I don't know how much we trust Puck Empire on X as well too, but
Stanos. I know his real name, so yeah, okay. I know Peckham. Yep.
Okay. Avalanche, Panthers, Canadiens, Stars, and Wild have all been linked to Nazem Kadri.
I believe that.
I believe that too.
Puck. First of all, Puck Empire, he's not like an insider. A lot of time he'll just post whatever what he sees like online. So he'll go on Twitter, he'll go wherever, and he'll just like post like updates and rumors and stuff. So yeah, I would believe that those would be the likely teams that would be in on Nazem Kadri, and I think that's why I think Kadri's like the number one guy that everybody's looking at to say, okay, where is he going to get moved to and for how much? Like that, and it has to start sooner rather than later, Kyle. I don't think, me personally, I think waiting around until Friday to make something happen is a bad idea. I think
you got to be the center of attention. Right?
You got to strike while the iron is hot here. In my opinion.
Yeah. So. One last thing I'll just bring up here, just revolving around this too, is it was just posted about 30 minutes ago. This is coming from it's a different account, but it's coming from Chris Johnson as well too. So basically is that talks are heating up here with Colorado and Calgary. Right now, the way it looks like is that Colorado could be at front of the list, but we are down to one phone call territory where now everything's could change at a moment's notice. So could happen today. It's possible it could happen
It
today.
literally could happen while we're talking right now.
Our luck, it's probably going to happen when we're done. Let's be real.
Yeah. I hate that you're right.
Let's be real. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, let's be real. It'll probably be like 5 minutes after we jump off.
For sure.
No.
I'll
keep my phone tab too in case anything comes up.
Probably a good idea. Flames finished up a California road trip last night. Obviously got blanked on Saturday there in LA. But let's talk about last night a little bit because at least they scored.
Multiple times.
So the one really bright spot that I noticed last night after watching the highlights, I'm so high on Matt Vigridine. My God,
he's
his
awesome.
shot. Have you seen his release?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It's nasty. It's nasty.
It's disgusting.
If he gets his finishing down consistently, my God, it's going to be fun to watch.
So that's what, like, I think they see it too, and they're gonna be like, just keep pouring this kid out there. For putting 34 shots out, I mean, they want to play this kid as much as possible. Cutter Gauthier scored twice. He had Farabee, who ended up scoring as well too. Sharon Govich found his 12th of the year. Farabee, that was his 13th of the year as well. Gauthier there in the third, and then the shootout it was McTavish, who ultimately found the winner. But again, they're giving him more. But again, they're giving him more, like, he hit the post grid in a shootout as well too. So I was kind of like, oh, all right, like, it was still a good attempt. At least it wasn't like anything bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
But overall, it would have been a perfect night for a tank had this just been 3-2 in regulation. You just quickly look at the stats. I mean, for the Ducks, I mean, still, like, you're 1 for 5. Like, come on, guys. Like, you're playing Calgary here. How are you 1 for 5 on the power play here?
Well, I mean, the Ducks have not been the same since the first, like, 2.5 months of the year. Like, they fell off pretty badly.
But even despite falling off, it's like they're hanging around because this division is just god awful, and somebody's going to have to get to the conference final here.
And honestly, Kyle, the Ducks don't have as much offense as people think they do. They don't. They don't. No. Like, you have Mikhail Granlund. You're going to need it. Yeah. Oh yeah. A new team has entered into the Nazem Kadri rumors. The Utah Mammoth now apparently are interested. So that doesn't really do anything. Just wanted to point that out.
I mean,
no,
I would talk to them more than I would Colorado.
I would talk to most of the teams that have been mentioned other than Colorado.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret, with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
Because again, like, what is it about it? Is it Conroy just trying to do it?
Sorry, from what was mentioned on Puck Empire, whether it's true or not.
Yeah.
Like, probably not Florida either, though.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what they like. Because in terms of prospects and stuff, I don't know what they have.
Also, in case you were wondering, it was actually Dave Pagnotta that made that report about who's linked. It was just Puck Empire that shared it. That's what I was telling you. Like, he just shares whatever he's seeing out there. So just
got it. Okay, that makes sense. What?
Interesting. Mammoth are making a major push for Robert Thomas currently.
Yeah, that's good.
I like that.
I like that a lot.
I'd like to see Robert Thomas in a Utah. They need a good player like him. That would be really good.
I like that a lot. Yeah. Okay. Cool. But anyway, yeah, with the game last night,
Yeah.
I thought Gridden was a really shiny. He was probably the one that I think people watched the most last night on the ice.
Might as well, right?
Yeah, I know, right? At this point, who
Might-
else do you
might
look
as-
at?
We're at the point of like, you're just cheering for young players to continue to improve, right? I think that's
Pretty much.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
other than that, I think you're right. I think this was this more about the Ducks last night? Because again, like you
Yeah.
mentioned, like, with their scoring chances, it's like this easily could have been like, why wasn't this 5-2? Why wasn't this 4-2 at least?
Right.
You have all those power play chances.
Because we know what the Flames are. We've been knowing this. It's more, I
Right.
think, with the Ducks. It's like what exactly, like, because it's confusing. Because you think about the amazing start that they had to the year for the first 2.5 months, and then they've just kind of fallen off, and now we're not really sure what to make of them.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, it's gonna be fascinating just watching the race in that division because
Oh, yeah.
nobody seems to want it.
nobody,
Literally
not
nobody.
insane, nobody.
Right? It's kind of sad at that point. That's why the Central is going to be like the sole focus here in the playoffs because they're going to
Yeah.
dog walk whoever comes into the Western Final. It feels
It's
like.
gonna be it feels like this year's Pacific Division reminds me of all the years with like the American League Central in baseball. It's like nobody ever wants to win the division, and whoever wins it ends up with like 85 wins, and it
Right.
was like for nothing. So it's like
Yeah.
that. It's like, does anybody really, and
It feels like it.
it's going to be worse now that, like, once again, Mark Stone just magically got hurt against the Penguins.
Oh yeah, I know. I saw that. I was like, oh.
I was
yeah,
like, no,
I'm
he
sure
didn't.
he's hurt.
It's like, here we go again. He's going to go on
I know.
LTIR.
What
And
other bull crap are we going to start seeing? Right, we're in this freaking team. Like,
I'm so over. I mean, I don't doubt that Mark Stone gets hurt a lot. I don't doubt that. It was just this time around against Pittsburgh, it looked like nothing. It looked
Right.
like nothing at all. So I don't know what happened. So
it's going to be. Yeah. I mean, God, this division's terrible. It's
this
so bad.
sucks.
It's so bad.
Just weird.
One thing worth mentioning too. One of the wins from recent trades over the last couple of years was Andrew Mangiapane because now he's placed on waivers. All of a sudden, I don't know if you heard about it yesterday, but he got put on waivers by Edmonton.
Yeah.
And for those of you
He
forgetting,
sucks.
from the 2025 second round pick that Calgary got back from Washington when they
Yep.
sent Andrew Mangiapane first there, they selected Theo Stockzilius in that second round.
Sometimes you
wild.
just know when to sell somebody and when not.
True.
Okay. What a roast. What a roast.
For the record, Calgary's 9-0-2 in their last 11 games in Anaheim. But before that, they couldn't win a game in Anaheim for the last 16 years. So
Okay. So
take it how you see it. Right?
so maybe they have a point
maybe
with that
maybe.
one. I
Maybe.
just did that. I hate that we are once again in a position where it feels like there will be a lot of action at the deadline, and then I'm waiting to be totally disappointed.
Well, that's how last year went, right? And
Well,
most of the shit that
Dude, we
happened
sat
was
around, you and I, for 3 hours waiting for just Mikko Rantanen to get traded.
That's why I'm going to be smart this year and sit there at noon Eastern and wait like
Yeah,
whatever,
there it
2
is.
hours, and we'll see.
I'm
how
with
it goes,
you,
'cause
like-
that's when shit'll pick up, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's move on. Yeah, I mean, when we look at Andrew Mangiapane when he got dropped the other day, it was like, what a win to get a second round pick from that. Like, it's unbelievable.
How much money is he making with Edmonton?
So his original contract was ending at 5.5. I
Yeah.
think.
Curious.
So I think it was less, probably around
True.
2-ish, something like that. It was around 2 or
I
3.
could tell
So
you.
I hope somebody claims him though, because like to me, it might just be an incompetence on what the Oilers have been doing to him, because I think they're just expecting more. But like when you pair him with like Trent Frederick, who finally scored on Saturday for the first time, I think they said in like 38 games or something. Like you're not really setting him up for success, right?
Yeah.
So
Mangiapane, by the way, he's making 3.6 this year and then 3.6 again next year. So
3.6. Okay. So it's a lot of money.
That's not that. I mean, with the cap going up and everything, honestly, that's not like crazy. But here's the problem: are any contenders? Do they have the money to pick him up? No.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Well, that could change
who?
easily. Vegas.
God.
Come
What
on.
about Dallas?
What are we talking
How
about
about
here?
Dallas? How about Dallas?
Maybe.
Add him as a depth piece. Like, is that really bad?
No, not necessarily.
I think he just needs to go. I think he just needs a new. I think he needs to change the scenery, which is nuts considering that this is his first year in Edmonton.
Sure.
So, like, I don't know.
So with 5 days to go here, I mean, still something can probably happen today.
Thank you.
Is there? I know I'm kind of like leaning the conversation back and forth here, but is there like is it worth? Is Kadri the first one that needs to be the domino that falls, essentially, before we run into Friday?
From the Flames or just in general?
Flames, yeah, like
Flames.
Your other show. So
no, I don't think it has to be Kadri that goes first.
Sure.
I think it could be Coleman because I think Coleman.
I just think there's more fits for Coleman. Like you can make that.
That's the thing. That might.
Hey, we're going.
It might just be like Conroy may move him quicker because there's just more options on the table, and then with Kadri, they may look at more. They may take more time to look at everything, and also it was brought up before, and I know it's a horrible example, but just play ball with me here. It's a horrible example, right? When we were talking, when the Quinn Hughes trade rumors were coming out like a couple months ago, like back in November, early December. It just kept saying, right? Devils. Like that's all we heard, right? And then out of nowhere, it was Minnesota.
Sure.
I think we're in a similar situation with Kadri where we're hearing again, oh, it's Colorado, Colorado. And then you saw in that piece that was written, some team could swoop in at the last minute and go,
happens a lot.
How about this? And maybe it is Minnesota again. Maybe they come in behind, at the end and go, wait a second.
Kind of hope in Montreal, but yeah.
Or Montreal. Who knows? I mean, the problem with Montreal is that it sounds like they're much more interested in going after Jordan Kyrou right now. I get it. Which I get it. But I don't know. I don't know what Montreal. I don't think Montreal wants to also break the bank either, considering that this is the first year that really everything's starting to come together for them. You know? So, I don't know. I really don't know.
It feels like it feels like you're right. Like, because I was thinking about that as we were talking about it, where, with Kadri, you're right. It's been Colorado here the last 24 hours, where all of a sudden that can easily change. And Minnesota, Montreal, whatever, somebody pops in and goes, if that's all they're offering, like we got something better here, right? Which again, I hope is the case, because you just look at the prospects for Colorado, and I'm not really sold on it. So
100%. I have a thought that I was just thinking about with Montreal. Do you think? I'm actually curious your opinion. Do you think that because I know he's on LTIR and he's probably done for the year.
Sure.
But the Flames offered to take on the rest of Patrick Laine's contract for just the rest of the season, not beyond that. Do you think that would give more incentive for Montreal to give us more if we offered Kadri in return?
With Laine's contract.
Laine's making 8.7 for the rest of the season. Just
that's
the end
it?
Of this year. And then he's a free agent at the end of the year. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would take that. Oh my god.
Okay. I was curious your thought. I was curious your thoughts because
they have 44 million in cap.
Right. That's why I was saying it. I was like, well, you have that space that you could do that. And so, like, I wonder if Conroy could, if you're talking with Montreal, you could be like, all right, can we have Michael? I don't know if this is an overpay. It's hard to tell. Michael Haig, maybe a pick. I don't know. Do you want to pick as well if you're getting Kadri? Do you want to pick?
Like it's going to take picks, like plural, like lots.
Like a first, you think? Or do you think that's too much? Okay, so let's say we get a first, we get Haig, and we take Laine's contract the rest of the year. They get Kadri.
Yeah. Because
here's why. This is what I think. They want that contract off the books, which, I mean, it's going to happen anyway because he's going to walk in. He's not coming back to Montreal.
No.
But that gives them more money to play with because for the rest of the deadline if you do it at some point before Friday.
You would have to.
They take off 8.7 and they only get what? How much is Kadri making right now? 6, right?
7.
7. So you're still saving money. And that's just an idea that I thought about.
It is, but I think like don't forget, like by getting him though, like you're making that investment for the next 3 years, right? At $7 million. So in a way, it's like, yeah, I don't have a problem taking that, right? But you're only saving about $1 million here. So how much can you really do with that?
Sure.
You know, that's my only concern. Again, I don't have a problem with it, but for Montreal,
well, for Calgary's side, we wouldn't have a problem with it at all. We'd take that in a heartbeat.
Right. Yeah. Right. So I'd be curious to see what that. Yeah. So I mean, I unlikely it happens, obviously, because all this.
I think it's unlikely that Liney's contract gets moved at all because I think again he is a free agent at the end of the year, and I don't think Montreal really cares whether he's on the team or not.
But again, I don't have a problem taking that contract.
Right, because we have the money.
I'll take a free pick. Why not?
Yeah, we have the money to take it, and then guess what? It goes off the books anyway in 3 months.
4, yeah, exactly.
4 months. So
I don't have a problem. I'll take a free pick.
Yeah,
why not?
I wonder if like going from one Canadian team to another is something that Kadri's not okay. I don't think he cares.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
and we don't know what that.
We don't
know what that. That's the thing is we don't know what that 10-team trade list looks like.
We don't.
We have no idea, right?
We don't.
I imagine with the teams that have inquired, clearly it's going to be okay, right? And as much
Colorado,
as that's the thing. In terms of business here, you're respecting the fact that he's not like you're obviously okay. Of course, we're not going to touch any of those 10 teams, but organizationally, we have to do what we got to do, and we're going to take the best offer we can get here. And I don't care where you're going.
Yeah, this is a fair point. By the way,
it's true.
This is a fair point. Like I think that like it'll be interesting to see like with teams that are not even teams necessarily that are sellers, but teams that are buyers.
Right.
Like, they have to.
I think it was mentioned that there's just not a lot of buyers this year. I mean, maybe outside of those teams that were linked to Kadri.
This is a bad year to be a team that's trying to sell unless you have like top of the line assets, which the Flames, I would argue, are towards the top of the list when it comes to guys that could be moved that have good value.
Well, and that's the thing. I think there's more. What's the word I want to use here? There's more intrigue, I guess, with Calgary, right?
Sure.
And I think let's take the example of being at the club, right? All eyes might be on Calgary because Vancouver, in terms of guys that they're like, they've already done it, right?
They've already done it.
They've already done it at this point, right?
Yeah.
Where we're living today, like Tyler Myers, O'Connor, like Garland's name's never been brought up. Like there's just guys' names.
Maybe Elias Pettersson. He might.
But again, his name hasn't really been brought up. And
right.
It might
it's been mentioned in passing, but not consistently.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. And when we're looking at the board, there's just more from Calgary's end. Okay, yes. Vinny Trocheck is one guy. Ryan O'Reilly, who frankly I think wants to stay in
He's
Nashville.
Not getting moved.
Right. So in terms of just when you're looking around the club and seeing who to pick out, Calgary stands out more.
Of course.
Doesn't mean anything's going to happen, but they stand out.
No, but they're the ones that I think a lot of teams would look at probably first.
Sure.
And if you're Craig Conroy, that's exactly the kind of position that you would like to be in. Because then you can set how this goes. And again, I think there's multiple teams. Well, we certainly know that with Kadri, but I think there's multiple teams that are interested also in Coleman.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if Tampa was calling again.
It's true.
That's why Connor Geeky was brought up because of that exact reason.
And then real quick, you mentioned David Pagnotta. He mentioned a couple hours ago about Tyler Myers. Eyes remain focused there on Myers and Vancouver's initial thought that there would be an answer by the end of the weekend. It still remains status quo as of this morning. So that's surprising.
I think he gets moved.
Well, the whole thing was he was going to get moved by the end of the weekend, and let alone like Saturday, he was going to get moved.
Whoops.
And nothing's happened, and it's like, okay.
Maybe the value isn't there.
Maybe. It's possible.
At least with Conroy, like he's been very transparent about what he's doing. And like he hasn't promised anything.
No. This
Except,
is exactly what we're doing.
well, I would
sure.
say he promised with Anderson. Like, I would say that. It just
Well, that and that had to be done first, right?
Right.
That just had to be
Sure.
done. Yeah. So it's going to be fascinating to see kind of what happens here over the next couple of days. I'm going to jump on Friday for the end of the.
Honestly, I'll jump on with you. It's fine.
Yeah, probably for about 2 hours or so. We'll
it's fine.
stick around and see
I'll
what
be-
happens.
I mean, I just think that it would be really funny if the first like 3 or 4 hours nothing happens, not a single move, nothing even minor. Just
That's
dead
why in
still.
the morning there's nothing. There's never
Of course.
anything in the morning, right?
And if there is, it's a minor move. It's like okay. Like
Great.
I think one team to keep an eye on, and I'm going to sound biased, but one team to keep an eye on is New Jersey, because now there are new names that popped up that are now like Jonas Siegenthaler's name came up. Dawson Mercer's name has already been up there. Dougie Hamilton. They're looking to sell off maybe half of their defensive core, from what I've heard. Be really interesting to see like what value is there and how much they are involved in things. It'll be interesting.
This is the week where everybody's name is just going to start popping up.
I don't know.
They're talking about Vinny Trocheck too. Regarding reports that he prefers to stay on the East Coast. Sure, you're relating to it. The I don't want to be out west talk on Instagram or whatever. And yeah, it's not a secret. They are on my no trade clause. Family's important to me. My family's on the East Coast.
You know where he should get traded to? Honestly, go back to Carolina. Yeah, there you go. That like Carolina. It's like, to me, it screams like you've just already done trades together. You traded Miller to them, Keandre Miller. I think you could get something decent as a rental for Vinny Trocheck, who can play that fourth line, center.
Third line.
Yeah, 100%.
For sure. Yeah.
100%.
Carolina would probably be in on that.
I don't know who else on the East Coast I don't know who else I would put there. The Islanders?
Tampa.
Damn it.
The way that things are going.
Tampa
you know who's a sneaky one that I don't think people are talking about enough? And this is going to be
Boston, I swear.
No. Buffalo. Not about Trocheck, but in general, dude.
Yeah.
Because they're second in the Atlantic, if I'm not
mistaken.
Keep
in mind who the new GM is, too.
Yeah.
It's not Kevin Adams. It's Jarmo Kekalainen.
Kekalainen's there.
And Kekalainen is not afraid to make a move.
Buffalo's 35-19-6.
Who?
Buffalo's going to show.
Who are they going to get? Who do they need?
I genuinely believe Buffalo's going to shock people, I think, at the deadline.
I have an idea.
They're going to shock
you know who I think they go after? I think they call about Jordan Binnington. They need goaltending. And I think genuinely that would work.
Yep.
In terms of, I would swing for somebody from Buffalo. What the hell, right? What the hell? And
Buffalo,
who would I swing for?
Forever? Go for it. Why not?
Would I swing for Pettersson? Maybe not. That might be a lot.
No. I think you shore up your goaltending and let the kids play.
Might as well, right? I think it's not, because I think also what it would do, is you're at least rewarding the team for being like, hey, you guys have been doing a fantastic job. I want to help you guys get that extra oomph so we could get into the playoffs. Because I think right now, the entire league is cheering for Buffalo. I think every team wants to see Buffalo in the playoffs again.
Like, get this in terms of the overall standings.
Give me a Sabres Islanders playoff series.
Get this, right? In terms of the overall standings, right? The juggernauts. Colorado, Carolina, Dallas, Tampa, Minnesota, and
Buffalo.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, how does that work?
You know what?
It's
I tell you this, you may not agree. I'll tell you this. It is the Lindy Ruff effect. There is an effect that goes on because Lindy Ruff, one thing about him is that he's very, very big on aggressive offensive forechecking.
Right.
And that Sabres team does that a lot. And he also expects his defensemen to come up and take risks. So you see Owen Power, you see Rasmus Dahlin, you see these guys being much more involved offensively. And what is the big knock? What was the big knock when he was in Jersey? Didn't have goaltending. What's the big knock right now Buffalo does not have? decent
No
goaltending.
goaltending.
So
Yeah.
I think if you're Jarmo Kekalainen, call St. Louis and be like, hey, what do you want?
Speaking of goaltending, Ukko Pekka
Ooh,
right? Like, he is like, to be
bugs
honest
me.
though, I don't know. Like, I've been high on Luukkonen, mainly because, and don't forget they have Alex Lyon as well too, who they've been going back and forth with. But
Yeah.
I've been high on Luukkonen and I know he could break out for a long time. Watching him play in Sudbury, like, he's at a 2.48 goals against average and a 908 save percentage. Like, it's not nothing to sniff at. Like, it's not awful.
No.
Road, right? And I don't
Yeah.
know, like, with Alex Lyon, it's like, all right, you want to go get Bennington. Like, I think that's one thing that Buffalo absolutely needs is goaltending for sure. Everybody can use
Sure.
better goaltending, but
Sure.
you know, if you run it with a Bennington and Luukkonen combo, maybe I don't know how it would work out, but Lyon could be be a good affordable backup if somebody needs it.
Yeah. But again, that's also if St. Louis is actually going to sell.
You have
Genuinely.
to. Oh my god!
I just wrote an article that came out today. I just wrote an article about why the Blues need to sell. I need to sell now because I think with the value that some of their top guys have, Bennington, Robert Thomas, who just came back, Jordan Kyrou, Colton Parayko, and also the fact that they're unfortunately for us worse than the Flames in terms of points.
Sure.
There is not a better time than now. There is no, I think your last hurrah with that core was last year. And who knows what they could have done in that second round if they had not choked it away. Who knows?
Sure.
But we know this about Jordan Binnington. When the playoffs come around, Jordan Binnington steps up his game. You know, it might not look great in the regular season, but you know what? If Buffalo's averaging 3 to 4 goals a game, they're still giving Binnington a lot of chances to win games anyway.
For sure.
And then you get to the playoffs, and who knows? Binnington could steal an entire series in Buffalo.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. Like, the way that it's looking out east, I think is fascinating, right? Like,
yeah, it's an arms race.
It looks as though, I'm going to assume the way that it looks, the way this crazy year's looked, is that Tampa's going to win the Atlantic, right? In the regular season. They're going to be
I would agree.
Right? Mm-hmm. Because the funny thing is, it's still really tight, right? You got Buffalo at 76, Montreal at 75, Detroit at 74, and Boston at 71. Like, it's all still relatively.
And not all those teams are going to be in the playoffs, too. Keep in mind.
Correct. Exactly. Ottawa, they're at 66. So
Ottawa's still in striking distance. Huh.
Exactly. There's teams in striking distance. And I think I don't think that's the thing. Nobody's talking about Buffalo, man.
I think because everybody still is expecting them at some point to collapse.
Yeah,
I think that's what people are waiting for.
Right. That 10-game win streak, 11, whatever it was, like, vaulted them. Right?
Yeah.
And they're 7-2-1 in their last 10 games. So I don't think this is stopping.
Doesn't look
fascinated to see what Buffalo does.
Right. But people will pay attention to Buffalo if they're the first ones to make a major move.
Yep.
People will be like, okay, now you gotta lock in here.
Yep. I think they're gonna be sneaky. I really do. Any other team that you think of coming up at the deadline here that might be sneaky as big buyers?
Sneaky
in a
buyers?
sucky market as what it is.
Yeah.
Seller's market.
Utah. I think Utah, because Utah is still in a spot where they actually could make the playoffs. And you wonder to yourself, when are they going to make like that move? You know what I mean? Like they've built, like they have pieces. They do. They really do. And it's exciting. But I'm kind of wondering when they make that big move that kind of puts them, like, same thing with Buffalo. It's like, okay, they're being serious. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they're not serious, but
but another thing I think that for Utah, same situation as Buffalo here is probably goaltending, because your number one is Vejelkama.
Well, Vemelka's played really well. That's the thing, though.
But here's the thing, Luukkonen, like when we talked about Luukkonen there a second ago at a 2.48 goals against average, like Vejelkama is a 2.57 and a 901 save percentage. So that's pretty identical.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right? In terms of just looking at those two stats.
Right. I mean, look, I'm not saying Utah wouldn't call about maybe Biddington. I think they could certainly call. But the question is, would St. Louis be fine with trading him in the West? Probably, if they get a better offer.
If they get a better offer, yeah.
Because I think if you're Buffalo, here's the other thing. You still have a lot of young prospects in your system that are developing. How much are you willing to give up now? Because you ask yourself, is this the product of just getting a lot of things going right at the same time? Or is this exactly what you're building to? Is the Sabres rebuild finally getting to that second point where now, okay, their guys are developing, they can play, they can compete. Now it's time to start buying. Right, exactly. Right. Same thing with Utah. And I think about Utah because they're also, like I told you, they're interested in making a move for Robert Thomas or Jordan Kyrou or like now Nazem Kadri. Like it's obvious to me that they want to take that next step. Sure. The question is, are they going to make that move? You have a new GM. I mean, not a new GM, excuse me. You have a new owner in a new market. He may want to splash, honestly. So
he might. And I think because he's definitely done it before. And he was also, don't forget, like he was also the one to bring in Johnny Gaudreau at the time.
Kekalainen, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, Kekalainen, who was in Columbus at the time.
That's what I mean by he's not afraid to make that aggressive move. Kekalainen came in at the end of that Johnny Gaudreau sweepstakes and was like, well, why don't we just go and offer him a deal and let's see what happens? And he offered it and it worked.
Yeah. So I agree. I like Utah's,
Columbus, by the way, which I would argue is a smaller market than Buffalo in terms of hockey. I'm like, that's my argument with it. And Kekalainen knows how to do well in a small market. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
well, look, the Blue Jackets play in a state that's big on football.
Sure.
In Buffalo, yeah, they do have the Bills, but like
not right now. They don't.
Not right now, right? It's not looking good. Maybe the Pagulas want to get on the good graces of Buffalo sports fans again by having their GM of the Sabres go and make a big move to get him into.
But that's what. So, and you know what? I was going to mention that, right? Because there was a lot of heat on the Pagulas because of the start that Buffalo had again, and it's like they fired Kevin Adams, and everyone's like, "Oh, here we go again." Pagulas putting the Sabres under, and they want the Bills to succeed, right? Well, don't you think for a hot second that Pagula is going to come in here deadline week and be like, "Hey, Kekalainen, go do something, go do something." Like,
I'm sure he's thinking about it.
Pump my own ego up, right? You don't think he's gonna do that?
That's my point. That's what I'm saying. Like, he might. Yeah. And the question is, Kevin Adams. To me, it was obvious he didn't have that much control.
No.
So the question is, how much control does Kekalainen actually have? Does he have more? Is he giving free range to do whatever the hell he wants?
He better.
He better, because he's proven before.
So,
true. Just saying.
Yeah. So, I mean, somebody apparently accidentally clicked publish for a potential blockbuster trade. I'm just seeing this on X, and I don't know if it's true or not, but literally, because I've been refreshing it, right? I just want to see
who posted
on. It's I don't know how much stock you want to put into it, but apparently somebody made a Hockey News article.
No shot. This isn't real.
Can't be real.
This was an hour ago.
Yeah.
Let me look this up. Let's look at the Hockey News. Let's.
I'm not buying it.
Oh, we do have a trade.
Oh,
Robbie Fabry to the Minnesota Wild.
I like Fabry.
Wasn't he on the Wild?
No.
I could have sworn he was.
He won a cup with St. Louis. He won a cup. He's St. Louis. He played in Detroit. He played in Anaheim, I believe, at one point.
Yep.
And now he's heading off to Minnesota. I like that. Depends. Cool. The terms on the deal depends for sure. Well,
I think it just happened.
Can't wait to jump off and for some big news to happen, and we won't be able to record until Friday.
Oh, it's going to be great. No, it's going to be great.
That's the kind of plan, though. I think what I'll do is probably jump on like 2 hours, like maybe around like o'clock or something before on Friday, and we'll cover the deadline a little bit. So there you go. All right, cool, man.
Wait,
I think
that's actually kind of interesting because Robbie Fabry was put on waivers yesterday.
Right.
So maybe they found a deal for him.
And they wanted to jump in and get him, though. And that's going to be the same thing here. I think Mangiapane might see the same sort of treatment today as well, too.
Could be.
Because he was put down on waivers and somebody might want to jump up and grab him.
Yeah, I swear it's going to be the Devils.
You never know.
Goal scoring. No, it won't. We
Yay.
don't. Oh, God. And I will say this. My one prediction that I feel like it's definitely going to be true is I don't see either Ryan O'Reilly or Steven Stamkos getting moved. I don't think either one of them go.
I don't think so either.
Because if they get moved, it's going to be in the offseason.
Nashville's close to a playoff spot.
Because Nashville's in a playoff spot on now all of a sudden. Or near it. Or
that
near
changed.
it.
That changed pretty quick.
But remember, Trotz is still in the mindset of like, we're trying to rebuild here.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
They can guess what? They can be in the mucky middle this year, and let us know how you guys feel about that.
Let us know how it feels.
Yeah.
Let us know how it feels to be in that middle. Pick 14 or 15.
All right, so we got we'll come on Friday for about 2 hours, so we'll watch the deadline.
We'll come on earlier than that if somebody gets dealt.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
No, I'm saying like earlier in this week if somebody's getting moved.
Oh yeah, obviously if there's breaking news with Kadri and stuff,
that'll be important.
I'll be sure to try to be on and we'll get on top of it. Other than that, one more Monday show, my friend.
Right.
And
one more.
She wrote. So
yeah,
it's it'll be good. Next week we'll just kind of we'll recap.
We'll recap everything. Yep.
And roll it from there. But hope everybody has a good rest of the week. Hope everybody has a good trade deadline week and all the rumors and all that crap gets spewed on the internet. So have fun with that. All right, man. We'll catch everybody on Friday on the THPN channel for about a couple hours for the deadline. We'll see everybody again one more time on Monday. Peace.
Later, guys.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.